Ha ha, suckers! You thought this was PE class. Unfortunately, there is no physical releases this week. So I'm going to dragoon Jarret into Terrific TV Tuesday because Glenn made me cut it from the proper show because he's got two interviews
Two
happening this week.
interviews.
There's
Jesus.
two fancy interviews. So there's no room for TV talk, which is, that can't let that stand. So I think we'll just kick things off. Unfortunately, no time to prep. Haven't told Jarret that this is what's happening. So just throwing him into the deep end, except for that part where we told you what we were doing earlier today. But
Yeah, there's that part.
that part.
Wow, Ben come
So,
packing.
Fully loaded.
Well, I'm in the, look, I'm sitting here in the Brady Bunch house, and you know what they say. I actually have no idea what they say in the Brady Bunch, except for John Glass is my boyfriend.
They keep the baker's dozen. The 13th one's hidden in the attic. You never see him in that series. We'll find about that out maybe in another 20 years' time when those NDAs are released.
To be honest, the only one I've actually seen is the "This Ain't the Brady Bunch" Triple X parody.
But you would have you've seen the feature films though with Shelley Long and
yes.
Yeah. What's his name? Old mate Lucas.
Gary Cole.
Gary Cole. Lucas.
Yeah, Gary Cole. Yeah, Lucas Buck. Lucas Black.
Lucas Buck. I was getting confused because Lucas Buck was in American Horror Story and one of them is a character in American Horror Story. It's fucking confusing, but it is a TV show, so there you go.
Your background, Jarret, just highlights something that I've never picked up on, right? So you're in the Bundy house, yeah?
I most certainly am.
Right. So they don't strike me as the kind of family that keep their garden up to scratch, and that hedge is looking pretty well trimmed back there.
Yeah, but would that be Marcy's doing or Steve or something like that? Maybe because they're like
Jefferson keeping it trimmed.
Yeah.
No pig.
Shit. Well, what are we going to do, Ben? Just talk about movies or TV shows, I should say?
Yes, what have you been watching this week, mate? Jarret.
The Jinx, season 2. I think we're up to episode 3 or 4 now, maybe 3.
Yeah, I've only done 2 so far.
Oh man, it's the fastest 45 minutes of TV. You're just left wanting more, and each episode seems to end on a cliffhanger. I won't spoil anything, obviously, because Glenn's got to catch up. But honestly, it's every bit as good as the first season. You're like, how can this thing have any more legs, left on it? We know that Durst is dead. We know he was convicted.
I was going to say him before you go into that. Look, I actually I haven't seen the first season. I have no real idea, other than hearing you guys talk about it. What is the Jinx? What's the show? What's the show actually about?
It's about this. I guess he's a real estate kind of
mogul.
Tycoon, mogul. Like his whole family have been in real estate, and so he's grown up in that sort of privileged lifestyle of pretty much he can kind of do what he wants and to a degree get away with it. And he's very good. He's a master manipulator.
But he essentially moonlights as a serial killer.
Yeah, absolutely, without a doubt, without a doubt. And it's a fascinating story they made, and it's the origin of the actual series is great too because it's Andrew Jarecki who directed one of my favorite documentaries, Capturing the Freedmans.
That's a good one.
But when he did his narrative feature, he did the film All Good Things with Kirsten Dunst and Ryan Gosling, and it was a very average film. But because he did such thorough research for it and wanted to speak to Robert Durst, because it's based on Robert Durst's story, at the time Robert Durst refused. But when the movie came out, Robert Durst saw it and he really liked it and actually ended up calling Andrew Jarecki to say that he liked the film and he was pretty spot on with some things. And then it opened a conversation and opened a TV series, which would have been the biggest downfall for Robert Durst ever. But I mean, look, he was going to die. He was getting to an older age anyway. So, I mean, there's a lot of unanswered questions.
Let's just say, Ben, for someone that hasn't seen it, let's just say that the finale of the first season, and it's a documentary series, is one of the greatest moments in television history.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
I was going to say, it sounds like this guy's much more of would look at himself as a serial killer who moonlights as a real estate entrepreneur rather than the other way around.
And it was brilliant casting with Gosling in it because they look nothing alike. I mean, even when Gosling plays a creepy character, he's still Ryan Gosling. Oh, by the way, gents, I did actually go and see The Fall Guy theatrically. And wow, I'll be pre-ordering that steel book from JB Hi-Fi. I loved it. I thought it was just so entertaining on every level. And the exciting news is, I know it was quite a long one, but I didn't look at my watch. I enjoyed every minute of it. But I believe there's an extended cut coming out on 4K as well. So I'm hoping, because there's a bit in the trailer. I quite like the bit where he says, "Sorry, are you saying ice cream or ice crime?" And it wasn't in the movie. So hopefully they'll be able to make way for it in the extended cut. But yeah, Gosling, probably not the best casting as Robert Durst, but I guess it was flattering because Durst really enjoyed the film. He might have been the only person that did, but one failure as a film created one of the most groundbreaking TV series ever. But yeah, so get onto it, Ben. You've got to give the Jinx a shot.
Check it out. Yeah,
I think it's streaming on Binge.
On Binge.
The first season as well.
What about you, Glenn? What have you been watching?
I've still been No, I've still been binging Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's at the moment, because like I am so fucking under the pump with work that's my only short kind of episodic kind of thing I can get into. The episode before bed gets me through. Ends up being 2 or 3 because I can't help myself. But,
and they're short. They're only like 22 to 24 minutes or something, so it's fast.
Previously, I think the first run I had done with the show had gotten up to season 5, and now I'm beyond that. So I'm getting it's all new for me moving forward.
Oh, fantastic.
And there was a little slump in the middle, but it really picks up and goes hard, and it just gets more offensive as the show progresses.
It's like they push the boundary and then they go, oh no, we'll climb over that.
Oh my
boundary.
God. There is it's not a spoiler, it's just part of an episode, but there's an episode where Jeff Garland's character fucks Catherine O'Hara, and it's a complete adultery, but they don't reprimand him for it. Like, he just gets away with it. Like,
it's phenomenal. Like, it's it is absolutely like the penultimate cringe show.
And the gaslighting in that moment, because they're at a dinner table when Catherine O'Hara, who's like a Fruit Loop, just blurts out that they fucked, and Jeff's wife is like, "What the fuck?" And he just plays it off like she's a lunatic, she's a loony, and he gaslights her completely and says, "As if I would do that." And the wife's like, "Yeah, you're right. I'm the only one crazy enough to fuck you." And they just pass it off like it never happened.
That's it.
Isn't that right from what's that movie that not the 7-Year Itch? Maybe it's the 7-Year Itch, where the wife comes home and the husband is literally in bed with his secretary, and she busts open the door and she's like, "Oh my God, Henry, how could you?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And he gets up, he starts getting dressed, she gets up. And then just, he goes, "You crazy. Like, I wouldn't cheat on you. Like, I would never do that." The secretary leaves. By the end of it, the wife is just like, "I'm so sorry. I can't believe I doubted you."
Yeah.
It makes the bed. That's so funny.
It's somewhat topical that Jerry Seinfeld, who, is a comedy legend, and Seinfeld probably, if not the greatest comedy, one of the greatest comedy TV series of all time. But for him to sort of come out and say about the, this woke, un-PC thing, we haven't had any good shows that have really done this. And I'm like, hang on, your mate has been doing it, chat, for like decades now.
That's right. You just never had the balls to drop an F-bomb,
Yeah, totally.
I think I heard, I don't know where I read it, but there was someone addressed that it's only shows that started before all the wokeness hit that it's okay in.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Because it's always Sunny and South Park ongoing series, and they've
ingrained themselves in the culture already. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I guess it might be hard, but I mean, there has been some, admittedly, I don't know if it'll get a second season, but that butt kiss, that was pretty out there for offensive. I mean, in the very first episode, he blows a load on his mum.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
And that's a message to mums everywhere. Like, don't come into your son's room when he's got the VR headset on.
But it's funny though, because there is a very distinct pushback now as well of the woke culture. I feel like the pendulum is swinging back, and there's that comedian, the stand-up comedian Brian Holtzman, who's considered to be one of the most outrageous, outlandish comedians of all time, and he pushes every envelope. But he's now got this TikTok account that's exclusively dedicated to filming the walkouts and getting their rants in the corridor outside the club. And
that is a great idea.
That guy's a racist, but everything they say, the guy who's holding the camera is obviously with him. And he says, says the lady, "What's wrong? What offended you?" "You can't say that word." And he's like, "What word?" And she goes, "Retarded." And he goes, "You just said it."
Oh, that's great.
It's a good TikTok account, I tell you.
Yeah. I'll tell you another
Fantastic.
thing I've been watching this week. It's just almost wrapped for the season. It's got 2 more episodes to go, and those 2 episodes are part of a 3-part reunion special. But Vanderpump Rules in its 11th season, and now we don't know if it's coming back for a 12th or not. But reality TV is my lifeblood because sometimes when you just have a hell of a day, and particularly when you work in sort of industries like ours where you do deal with film, on a work level as well as your pleasure. For a bit of downtime, there's nothing better than a bit of reality TV. I can switch my brain off. I know the voices, and I can basically be on Marketplace looking for something.
I actually,
there you go, Ben.
The other day I was looking for something to watch, and I think it was Binge, but it could also be Amazon Prime.
It's not that Fuckboy Island, is it?
No.
Okay.
No, I tried to get into season 1 of that, and then I listened to her talk about it, and while she's criticizing other people for being misogynist, and then someone came up with the thing like, "Well, aren't you the host of F-Boy Island?" She goes, "Yes, but that's an expose on F-boys."
Well, speaking of reality TV, last week they had the 20th reunion of Big Brother, the first season, the Australian one.
Oh, wow.
And, there wasn't anything really covered in the media, but one of the contestants from that year, Paul, he was the hippie one with the dreadlocks that got into
I remember
fight
him, yeah.
with Merlot and all that.
Merlot, God, he's the one that came on TV with the...
Yeah. So he took a camera into this reunion, and it was like the top floor of some casino restaurant, and everyone was there. And it was fascinating to see them all. Merlot looks completely different. He's now very corporate looking, which is ironic when you think about what he was.
Yeah, bloody oath.
Yeah. But it was Fitzy
Chrissy Swan?
She wasn't in season 1, I don't think.
No, Sarah Marie, wasn't she?
No.
She was Sarah Marie in season 1 that did the thumb dance.
Yes, but there were people in there that I forgot. There was Gemma that had the lipstick line. Anyway, there was
Flash wasn't there though, was he?
No, that was season 3, I think.
Oh right. Oh well, he passed away.
The turkey slap guy.
No, the guy that had the horrible haircut, looked like he played in Aqua.
That's right. Gordon,
but he passed away. Gordon, I think they called him the Flash though. Maybe because he used to flash his genitals. I don't know. I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
But this whole dinner was dominated by Fitzy standing up and just taking over the conversation because he's the highest profile of the lot.
Yeah,
and you could hear them talking like, to the side, like, oh, here he goes. He's fucking dominating the whole room. None of them were into it. And he thought he was the fucking bee's knees, man. Hilarious.
Oh man, yeah. And what about Gretel Colleen? Did they invite her along?
She wasn't there. Which I'm very curious to know. She's doing stand up in Melbourne at the moment, so I don't know. Like, it's very
hang on. Gretel Colleen's a comedian.
She was beforehand. Yeah,
that's what she was. Yeah.
Gosh, yeah. Wow, I'd love to see that because I've never found her funny remotely. Jesus, it's mortifying.
It's when comedians take certain stances on issues that they become unfunny. It's like just
it's true.
Keep it on the live stage and out of our lounge rooms,
and keep those babies out of the comedy shows. Leave them at home. Get a babysitter.
Damn straight.
I just saw a picture the other day. There was somewhere in Europe, someone had gone to a Taylor Swift concert, and they took a baby and they had it sitting on the floor.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm like, well, that's next level. Yeah. That baby's not interrupting the show, but if that baby makes it out of a Taylor Swift show alive, I'll be surprised. But yeah, amazing,
incredible. But the show that I found, and I immediately thought of you, Jarret, just bringing it all the way back to my original point.
Like a Ross Noble comedy show.
It was a really, really tangent the shit out of that. It's a French real estate program about this family of they were real estate amateurs. It was the parents who were teachers, and they decided, we'll just get into a bit of real estate on the side. And now all they do is like luxury properties. And all their kids one by one have joined the business, selling these amazing European, I think mainly in Paris and France.
Yeah.
Like I put on the first episode and I was like, I'm in bed. I can't have subtitles on because I'll be like you on Facebook Marketplace or whatever.
Exactly. Or shopping for Blu-rays that I'll never watch because I'm watching too many reality TV shows.
filling up shopping carts on various sites to see. What happens if I do spend $300 on? Will I be able to eat this week? but I have to track it down and send you the link because it looked great.
I'm keen. Yeah, that sounds like my perfect, because I love like $1 Million Listing, Selling Sunset. When you get reality TV with a bit of drama and you mix it in with Selling Homes, I'm all over it.
Did you read about Did you read about the real estate agent a few weeks ago that burnt down the $10 million house during an open inspection?
Oh no, you're kidding.
No.
Like, so she noticed there was like a pile of clothes in one room, and so she picked them up and quickly shoved them in another room that had a lit candle.
Oh.
And the place burnt to the ground. And like, that's, to me, like,
oh my God, that's priceless.
And do you reckon she'll take a commission out of the insurance?
Far out. But imagine that moment that you just see.
Oh, that's a film in itself. I mean, there's not enough real estate comedies out there. There's got to be more. I mean, that moment in Train Spotting where they're trying to, sell the apartment
and out of the closet.
Leave out of the closet. Priceless. Yeah,
we haven't had a good one since the Money Pit. Since the Money Pit, mate.
Oh, fucking yeah, the Money Pit. Yeah.
Oh no, what's your favorite one, Jack? Moving.
Moving with Richard Pryor. Yes, 1987. Dana Carvey, and I think it's his first film, possibly.
It's a banger,
and it's a great role too for him as well. Hey, we love the tiles in the kitchen. Yeah, we're taking them with us. Man, it's great. Moving's great. Bloody hell, that needs a Blu-ray release.
Moving, Money Pit, and Funny Farm all back to back.
What a triple header. Yeah,
and then we'd have to hire people to come in and serve us spicy lammy balls.
Lamb fry.
And we've got someone with a chalkboard that's chalking them up as we go during the course of the three
keeping
films.
track of which one of us eats the most.
Never seen anybody like that.
They're burger bites from Hungry Jack's. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God!
What's in those?
Trust me to bring it back to movies.
Yeah,
I guess I should actually talk about my TV show, which of
course.
But I'm going to recommend. I don't know.
Hang on a second.
Before.
I'm going to recommend. Yeah, you just said to us what I've been watching this week.
What have you been watching? Yeah, well, okay.
You get a chance to recommend what I came to talk about.
It's the same. It's the same thing. I watched it this week. I'm going to recommend it. Which is, I went back and I started watching episodes from the French Call My Agent, or in French it's actually called 10%, but in English it's called Call My Agent. The funny thing is I had to track it down on some nefarious websites because it is completely disappeared. I think I originally watched it on SBS On Demand back in the day. When it's gone now, it's great. It's if you've never heard of the show, it's basically set in the office of a talent agent who manage, and the original series is set in France, so they manage all of the like Monica Bellucci and I don't know any other French actors, but like Jean Reno turns up. Yeah, he does. Christopher Lambert turns up.
It's something French. Jean Reno. It's contractual, I think. If anything, any production's made in France, it's like Bruce Spence at a point in time. You're shooting something, you got to have Bruce Spence in it. You can dress him up, but it's got to be Bruce Spence.
If you get funding from Screen Australia, Bruce Spence has to be in it.
That's the catch.
He had that in the charter. That's why they don't let actors on the board anymore. But Natalie Bay and her daughter Cécile de France pops up, and it's
what
really
about
good.
Vincent Cassel? Does he turn up?
No, he doesn't. Funnily enough, this is post-divorce and subsequent remarriage to a much younger
He's in
woman.
that new serial killer movie with Samuel L. Jackson. That's what he's doing.
Oh, there you go.
Too busy working on the Brotherhood of the Wolf Part 2, even though he kind of died at the end of the first one.
And Lahane too.
And Lahane, Lahane 2 is like what happens when a young man's testosterone slowly depletes over age, and now he's just sitting on the couch, not even getting angry at the news anymore. He's just like, who's got the energy to be full of hate?
It's just him singing along to the commercials in between the news breaks.
Like, you know what? Actually, I like the government, and I'm doing fine financially. But unfortunately, as I said, Call My Agent is no longer available. But you can watch the British. The British remade it, and it's called 10% with I actually can't remember who the main cast are.
Has it got the bird from Black Books in it?
No, he looks
No,
like him
okay.
though, but it's not him.
Oh no, the lady. I think she might have been in that series.
No, she's in the other
episodes
one
in
with
Belgravia.
Yeah, and the one from she's in the one with Joey from Friends or whatever when they go to America and they
episodes. Yeah,
she's in that one. But she's not in this.
That show is pretty shit, to be honest. It's not a great show.
And Mangan, Stephen Mangan.
I watched most of it because I just was. I don't know what the draw was because I don't like Joey. I think he was probably the least talented of the entire Friends cast.
I think at the time Stephen Mangan was the voice of Postman Pat in the Postman Pat movie, so I'm guessing that was the draw card.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that one.
But I also discovered while looking for the original French one, I'm pretty sure on Binge as well, there's Call My Agent Bollywood. So the Indian version is up and available to watch. So
it really franchised this thing. It's more franchisable than The Office.
I believe it's actually gone out to like 12, 13 countries. Like there's a whole bunch of European countries that have done their own versions. Unfortunately, I don't know if they're planning to do an Australian one. That would be great. I just don't think we have the celebrities who'd slum it in TV.
I mean,
come
on. Did you see
I think Vince Colosimo is available. He hasn't been incarcerated. He's up for
Sydney or whatever it was. Fucking
hell. What happened?
Well, the first episode of the British one features Kelly MacDonald, who we were talking about.
I love Kelly MacDonald. God, yeah. Ever since Train Spotting, saw Stella Does Tricks on my 18th birthday. Was disappointed she didn't do more tricks.
But, that's 100% correct.
The Office, they were doing an Australian Office. Remember that? Mm-hmm. I haven't heard anything more about it.
Why do it? We've got Utopia. We had
exactly.
We had, what's the other one? The fucking one that Rob Sitch was in.
Frontline.
Yeah,
Frontline.
Is Rob Sitch in Utopia as well?
Oh, actually, we had Very Small Business as well, which is quite similar, which was brilliant. Really,
we've
really
done
good stuff.
We were on the forefront.
But for some reason, we're going to do this, or maybe it didn't pass muster and it's not going to eventuate. But now they're bringing The Office back. The American Office is coming back.
Yes.
But apparently it's in the same universe, but it's a different office or something.
Different business.
Yeah, okay, so it's not the paper. Well, it kind of makes sense. The paper business was probably in turmoil when the series was on, but now it's practically non-existent.
It's practically dead. Well, the funny thing is that remember when Steve Carell was hosting SNL not too long ago, and they had all of the cast kind of stand up in the audience during his monologue, going, "Let's get that money, Steve. Let's do that. Let's do that reboot." He's like, "Well, I don't think it would be right." And now they've done it, and Ed Helms and none of them are in it. They're all out.
Crazy. Yeah,
I think it was Ali Kemper and Ed Helms were in the audience.
Well, I'm going to save. Yeah, go on.
Oh, so didn't they have Keenan? Keenan got up and he goes, what would you say if they wanted to make Keenan Kel again?" And he's like, "I'd be honored."
I'm going to save my recommendation for next week.
All right, gentlemen, and I'll hopefully. Well, look, I actually will have new releases to tell you about next week. There is titles coming out next week, so never fear. We'll be returning to the traditional format.
Excellent. Well, Ben needs a sign-out catchphrase now.
Yeah, right. The only TV segment, Dinner Tuesday, terrific. Blah 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 blah. The only. Let me see how I can. No, I can't do it.
All right, you make that one, Jarret.
Something like, until next time, stay tuned.
Oh my God, done.